Hello, it's Jason Godbey here at New York City Comic-Con with none other than the president and co-founder of Legion M, Mr. Jeff Annison. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
The current project is Memory, which is a documentary about the making of Alien.
Yes.
Talk to me about that project and how it came about.
So first of all, the film is an amazing film. It's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the origin story of Alien and the mythological and entomological underpinnings and the story of how Dan O'Bannon, the screenwriter, H.R. Geiger, the iconic artist that created the alien, I never realized this before, but the alien itself, the xenomorph and the facehugger, that existed prior to the film. Dan O'Bannon saw that and said, oh, this is what I want, and they commissioned H.R. Geiger to modify some of his existing artwork to fit within the constructs of the screenplay. And they had to fight the studio to do that, by the way. But it's about H.R. Geiger, Dan O'Bannon, Ridley Scott coming together to create this seminal movie, the impacts that it had, the shockwaves that we're still feeling today. It's 40 years later, and we're still talking about this film. It's an amazing film for a hardcore Alien fan for sure. I consider myself kind of a casual Alien fan. Like, I've seen it a couple times, I like it, but I don't own the books and I don't own the DVDs and,
Yeah, you can't go crazy with Alien.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it. There's people that I've met that have never seen the film Alien that love the movie, just as a deconstruction of filmmaking and storytelling. And so it's really, I think, a powerful film by an amazing director who's a really up-and-coming young talent. Alexander Philippe.
Okay.
And he did 7852, which is an entire documentary about the shower scene in Psycho.
I've seen that.
Yes. Which he describes as literally the Mona Lisa of film scenes, that scene, and he deconstructs it. I mean, you've seen it. He's an amazing storyteller.
Yeah. We've actually spoken about Alien on my show as being sort of a perfect movie.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect horror movie, and it's one of it's inspired so many other movies.
Yeah.
And the first one I think is still the best one. Like
yes.
the original Alien to me is
absolutely,
it's the best story.
Well, this film started out as a film about the chestburster scene, a deconstruction of that, the same way that
right.
But when he got into it, he realized that there was a much broader story. So there's a amazing, like, it talks a lot about the chestburster and the mechanics of how it happened, and everything that happened with the actors. But the story of how we found that film is, I think, probably better than anything else, perfectly encapsulates what Legion M is all about. Because we went to Sundance as a distributor to try and purchase the rights to a film. And when you go to Sundance, as a distributor to try and, there were 119 films that were on our radar. How do you figure out, of those 119 films that have never released before, they're all brand new, there's no trailers for them, there's, you can see who's in it, you can read the synopsis.
It's like, who do you believe in?
Well, and there's plenty of rumor, people telling you, oh, this movie's great. You're like, how do you know? You haven't seen it. Nobody's seen it yet. It hasn't come out. This is the world premiere. And so, anyway, we crowdsourced it. We've got a community of people. We made a game that allowed you from anywhere in the world to log into your phone, and, you could spend 5 or 10 minutes. We told people, look, just come in. There's 119 films. It'll take you a few hours if you want to do all of them, but just spend 10 minutes. If you can evaluate 5 or 10 films, if everybody does that, we're going to have plenty of data. And that's what people could do. But a lot of them actually came in and spent a couple hours because it was a really fun thing to do. But when it was all said and done, we had over 40,000 votes cast from thousands of people. So when we went to Sundance to pick a film, it wasn't like what I thought was good versus what you thought was good. We had data that we could act on. And, to narrow down 119 films to these are the ones that we're interested in. Then when we're there, we had dozens of Legion members and investors who were in Park City. We host a lounge on Main Street each year where you can come and hang out. And so we had boots on the ground that could tell us, like, yeah, actually this movie's really good. Like, it lives up to the promise. And so that data we aggregated, and based on that, we partnered with a company called Screen Media to buy the North American distribution rights. And now we're distributing the film with Screen Media.
For anybody who wants to get involved and know more about Legion M, where can they find you on the web?
just go to legionm.com. You can join for free. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but you don't have to invest. We're not even always open for investment, but there's no cost or obligation. You can follow us on social. It's Legion M Official on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all over the place.
Thank you so much. And thank you all out there for watching. Jason Godbey from New York Comic Con, No Rest of the Weekend podcast.com.